Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on our first episode of Family Dynamics with Abimbola. Yeah, thank you so much for the love and the support shown since the announcement of this assignment that God is committing into my hands, this in this season of my life. And sincerely, I look forward to doing great things with you as it concerns your family and the things that happen in your homes. So, what are we talking about on the first episode? I just felt the need to lay a foundation of what it means to even have a thriving family, right? I'm sure you would have visited media handles and you would have seen something like to raise thriving families. So the question is, what exactly does it mean to have a thriving family? Have you ever asked yourself that question? What does it mean to have a thriving family? Does a thriving family mean wearing the same outfit with my husband? Does it mean always seeing always having people see us holding hands, smiling, taking ice cream and all of those things? Does it mean having a lot of money to spend and different places to visit around the world? Does it mean a house or a home that is free of challenges, free of worries, picture perfect? You know those kind of homes and families that you see on social media, in the magazines, and you're just wondering, this is a perfect family. Guy or guys, calm down, because the truth is there is really nothing as a perfect family. I know we are all perfect in Christ Jesus, and I know God's intention for us is to have homes that are perfect, homes that are whole, right? But when we use the word perfect, when we use the word whole, or when we use the word thriving, it doesn't mean an absence of conflict. It doesn't mean an absence of challenges. It doesn't mean an absence of moments of hurts and pains. It just means the presence of forgiveness, the presence of love, the presence of tolerance. So when we say a thriving family, in my own words, I would want to describe it as a family that is connected together, right? Irrespective of whatever it is that life throws at them, irrespective of whatever it is, whatever season or whatever phase of life that it might be. A family that chooses one another over every other thing else. So a thriving family is a happy, connected family where each member of that family feel loved, feel accepted, feel welcomed, feel protected. There is this sense of security that we all desire from the people that are closest to us, which I assume should be members of, primarily members of your immediate family. So a thriving family is that family where you as an individual feel loved, feel nurtured, feel protected, feel heard. I think that's an important one, right? Because there's a lot of noise around us right now that even sometimes right in your home, you might not feel heard. So a thriving family is that family where you listen and you also feel heard. And remember what I said, that a thriving family does not describe a family without its own challenges, without its own seasons of pruning, its own seasons of growth. Just like that emperor moth, that butterfly trying to come out of the cocoon, there would be phases, there will be seasons, there will be times in our families, in our homes, that sometimes we want to squeeze out, the life or the essence of what it means to be together as a family. But that thriving family is that family that chooses, irrespective of what life throws at them, to remain as one. So does this describe what your family, currently look like? Do you feel hurt? Do you feel loved? Do you feel secure? Do you feel protected? Or does your current experience in your home, in your family, remind you of those things that you dreaded when you were much younger? Yeah, we all have stories to tell about the homes that we grew up in. For some people, it's rosy, beautiful all along, and for some, not as rosy as they would have wanted. But the question is, right now, what does the tempo, if you are married, if you have a family, if you have your own husband, if you have your wife, right now, like you watching me, what does the current temperature of your family feels like? What is the tempo like in your home? If I bring in a thermometer now, will you read? Is it 38? How hot, how cold, or how loving and beautiful is the current tempo, is the current temperature of your family? And I trust God that irrespective of whatever the answer is, be it, I have an amazing family, I'm good to go, I'm fine, or that, oh no, Abimbola, I think I still have some things to work on. I think I still desire, my family to be better at these things. I pray that in the name of Jesus, God himself would be the anchor of your home. It would establish your home. It would make you smile. It would make you laugh. It would make you fulfilled. And the reason for which God has established that home will be fulfilled in your life. So I just thought to lay a very quick foundation with this first episode by telling you 7 important things, and I mean important stuff, that you must hold dear to your heart if you are going to raise a thriving family. Do you want to know what those 7 things are? So let's call it the 7 pillars of a thriving family. Pillar 1, ownership. And that's it, guys. Ownership. For husbands and wives, the truth is no one would work your home out for you. You have to do the work. So when we talk about ownership in our families, ownership in our marriages, it simply means you taking full responsibility of what happens in that home. Like you call the shots. The devil doesn't call the shots in your home. Your neighbors don't call the shots in your home. Your in-laws don't call the shots in your home. The very moment the husband, like Genesis chapter 2 says, decides to leave his father and his mother to cleave to his wife, the husband claims ownership of that union. And the wife also has the responsibility and the right of ownership to that union. And you know how we get to hold close the things that are so dear to our heart. Just like when think about a gift, or think about that one thing that you've always wanted. It could be a car, it could be a phone. Just pause and think about that thing. And imagine, or just picture that I just appear in your living room right now, and I hand that thing over to you and I leave. And some minutes later, someone comes in and says, "Can I have that thing? Give it to me. It belongs to me." You know how you're going to stand up and say, "Excuse me, no, it does not belong to you. It belongs to me. I was given this thing." Do you know since when I've been longing to have that thing? Can you picture you taking ownership of your home and your family that way. When the devil throws things at you, when the devil throws suggestions at you, when the opinions of men come raging in your home, can you stand and take ownership of your home, of your family? Because that family belongs to you. You have to realize that the responsibility of raising a thriving family, the responsibility of raising a whole family, the responsibility of raising godly children is with you. So ownership is one major pillar if you are going to have a thriving family. No one, even when you call counselors and therapists, no one will do the work for you. The work of having a thriving home starts with you as the father or the mother, or starts with you as the father and the mother, because it's a collaboration, it's a partnership. Ownership is the number one thing. The number two pillar for a thriving home is this: get ready to make some adjustments. Yes, I said what I said. Get ready to make some adjustments. I've discovered that some of the hurts, the pains, and the disappointments that we face in our families stem from the baggage or the extras, the things that we refuse to let go, that came from our own, that followed us from our own background into the new home that we are looking at building, right? And sometimes it is even the lack of one party willing to adjust. An adjustment can be demanded or will be demanded across the different areas of your life. You might have to, not like you might, you will have to adjust your time, you will have to adjust how you spend, you will have to adjust how you save. Adjustment is one major pillar if you are going to have a family that is thriving. You can't go solo, and you can't stay solo, and you can't stay on the point of this is me, this is who I used to be, this is what my father used to do for my mother, or this is what my mother used to do for my father, and then you start demanding from your spouse, you start demanding from the people that God has placed in your family those expectations. It won't work. Now you're coming in with someone who you were not even part of his life or alive, maybe the first 18, first 19, the first 20 years of our life. You must be ready to make some adjustments to fit into this new person that you have decided to walk the journey of raising a family with. The third pillar is recognizing that your home is a union. Your home is a collection of different individuals that can be shaped to become who you want them to be. Your home is a union, not just a unit. And remember the foundation of marriage itself in Genesis chapter 2 of the man leaving his father and his mother to cleave to his wife. So in starting your home, in starting your family, the point of cleaving must happen. The point of cleaving, where you then begin to see your family as a union, as a living entity, as something that can grow, as something that needs to be nurtured, not just a random unit, right? It's a union of two individuals becoming one, not one becoming two. So the place of oneness, the place of sharing a genuine union, right, cannot be negotiated if you're going to raise a thriving family. The fourth pillar that you must know is fellowship. Guys, I don't know how it will be possible to have a thriving family without fellowship. Like, fellowship is the lifeline of any home. And by fellowship, I am not talking about communication alone. You can be communicating with someone but not fellowshipping, especially, how it works now. Oftentimes, it happens in our homes. You're talking and someone is on his phone. You're talking, someone is on social media. You're talking, someone is on his laptop. You're trying to get someone to listen to something, and this other person is busy doing something else or is emotionally invested in another thing. Fellowship. So fellowship for me is bigger than communication. Communication is an aspect of fellowship, but fellowship in itself carries some sort of union, some sort of intimacy, some sort of collaboration, some sort of partnership and participation. Remember what 1 Corinthians 1 talks about when it described the participation that we have been called unto in Christ. It's a union, it's a participation of one pouring himself into another and the other pouring herself, into the other person. So fellowship. How important is fellowship? How important is communion? How important is intimacy? How important is creating opportunities to listen and to be heard? Creating opportunities for this person to even just talk to you about random things, that bothers them. Random things of how their day has been. Random things of you just genuinely checking out on this other person, even without them demanding or asking for it. If you're going to have a thriving family, fellowship is one word. If anyone is going to feel the pulse of someone's heartbeats, right, it should be first the family member. But most times what we experience, even with parenting and with raising children, is that those children go out and you find out that strangers sometimes are the first people to feel the pulse, to ask about how your own family member is doing, because somehow in that family, somehow in that home, fellowship has been lost. Fellowship is missing. If I belong to a family, I want that family to be the first place where the things that hurt me, the things that scare me, or the things that worry me, right, are first talked about. It is from the place of fellowship that you raise confident spouses and spouses who naturally thrive. Number 5, trust. Yes, trust. I was having a conversation with my dad, some days ago actually, and then he made a very profound statement that made me go, ooh, like, did you just say that? And I'm going to say that here. He said, Beams, do you know that sometimes even in our homes, trust can be bigger than love? Like, seriously, what exactly can be bigger than love in this life? Yes, but after listening to him, I'm sort of agree, because he gave an instance of someone saying, I love you so much, but somewhere deep down in your heart, you can't trust that person. You can't trust their actions. You can't trust what they will do behind the scene. You can't even trust your life with them. You don't know if they actually have your back, right? You don't know if you're priority to them. You don't know if they'll be willing to put you first if every other thing crumbles. When you're at that point where you are not sure of where you stand in your home or in your spouse's life, then somehow something is missing. So you might truly, genuinely love this other person, but if that trust bubble has been punctured, then something needs to be done. An intervention needs to happen. A recovery needs to happen, because trust is one major pillar that keeps everybody sane in our marriages, in our homes. The husband should be able to trust the wife, like, I'm a big deal to this person, I'm priority to this person. The wife should be able to trust the husband that this guy puts me first. This guy is thinking about me through his actions. Remember, trust is earned. Trust is not something that you wake up to overnight. You earn trust over time, not overnight, right? So over time, over the years, over my interactions, the times that I've interacted with this person genuinely puts me first. That is how trust is earned. So if your relationship or your family does not currently fit that description, then something needs to be done. You might need to sit down and go back to the drawing board to address those areas where you might have opened up that relationship or that home to suspicion. So trust is one major pillar. The children trusting the parents to even make good decisions for them. I've seen children that their parents, are saying this and they want to go this other way, not because they really want to go this other way, but because over the years their parents have also not shown them that they are priority and that they have their best interest at heart. Number six is what I call the submission love submission love pillar, and it's very simple. Like Paul admonishes in the book of Ephesians, husband, love your wives, wives, submit to your husband. If you are going to have a thriving, peaceful family, you can't be too woke to fight submission as a wife, and you can't be too careless or carefree not to understand what it means to genuinely love your wife as the husband. And I think the work of loving the wife is even more tedious, right, than the wife submitting, because Paul says, husband, love your wives as Christ loved the church. Do you know what that means? Christ went to the cross and died for the church. And if we are going to actually stay on how this is in the scriptures, Christ did not die a literal death. Christ died a physical death, an actual death, right? So as much as Paul is not saying go and stand in front of the car, because it's just one man that needs to die on the cross, Christ has done that. So as much as that verse is not saying, okay, go and put a knife to your throat and die, it's simply saying that the husband must get to a point where nothing else matters above the wife. That sounds really deep, right? So you can imagine coming to that point as fathers, as husbands, of when nothing, not even my job, not even the children, nothing matters more than this woman, and I'm going to show that and express that to her in everything that I do. I tell you, that kind of love would humble a woman. So submission is easy. And for the wife, this is not the time to then say, hey, my husband has not shown me that expression of love yet, so I am not going to submit. No. Can you just please focus on yourself? Focus on fulfilling your own responsibility of submission, right? And then together, let God be glorified in your lives and through your lives in that family. The last pillar that I would love to quickly just talk about, I'm sure you were not expecting me to conclude this episode without mentioning that person. You know who the person is, right? God. And I said what I said. Yes, no matter how woke, no matter how exposed, no matter how enlightened, educated, or whatever that you might be, irrespective of what the noise in the generation might be, God still remains the number one pillar. If you are going to have a successful family, a thriving family, a happy home, a home where everyone is loved, where everyone feels seen, feel heard, and feel nurtured. God is that one pillar that you cannot do without, right? Because remember, the source of a thing is the sustainer. And at the last episode, I made that clear that God is the source of our families. God is the source of our marriages. God is the source of our homes. So you can't do life without Him. You can't keep God in the bag and you are out there trying to do your own thing. No, God has to be at the center. In fact, He has to be the center, holding both of you together. Remember the threefold cord, right, described in the Bible? God has to be that central cord, that center cord, holding your home together, holding your family together, because really all the wisdom, all the direction, all the clarity, all the answers that you need to love your wife as Christ loves the church, to submit to your husband as Paul admonishes, and to raise and train up children in the way that they should go is in Him. So the more you keep Him at the center, the more those things then spread into your home, and easily you are able to raise a family that God can be proud of, that you can be proud of, and that the world, the nation, a generation can be proud of. Remember, your family is not there for you alone. God has established your family to glorify Himself in you, to glorify Himself through you, and to make you a source of light and a beacon of hope for the many others coming right after you. So thank you so much for joining me on this episode, the 7 pillars that you can't do without if you're going to have a thriving home. I'll see you again in the next episode. Remember to follow us on Instagram at familydynamics_ and on YouTube on Family Dynamics with Abimbola Durojaye. Thank you guys for joining me, and I love you so much.